The irony is I ended up creating a intervention that saved my life. I have been diagnosed with a very rare autonomic nervous system disorder, a type of dysautonomia. And my heart literally flatlined, like totally, completely stopped for more than 20 seconds. And it didn't happen just once whilst I was driving a vehicle that ended up in a motor vehicle accident, a major motor vehicle accident. I survived. Nobody else was involved. I just went off the road and down and crashed into some trees. I survived. This heart pause happens 6 times, and there's lots of other symptoms. So what stopped my heart also stops my lungs, also stops my brain, also stops my digestive system. Now, I don't know if you know this, but if your heart stops for more than 20 seconds, you can end up with irreversible, irreparable kidney damage. But had I not positively primed myself, I wouldn't have actually been able to bring my brain back online. But had I not been connected to the quantum field, I never would have survived in the first place. So I am a miracle. And my body heals every day by watching Positive Prime sessions. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome. Thank you so very much for being here. I am Kim Serafini, the founder, the creator, the inventor, the CEO of Positive Prime. I am a master manifester. I'm an extraordinary creator. And I'm here to share with you a little bit of the ingredients for the secret sauce that have helped me to produce absolutely marvelous miracles. Wasn't always the way though, and I've struggled and I've searched for, and I've been up, down and around. So I can see that Paul's here, Davey's here, Alex is here, a few other people are here. Thank you so very much for being with us. I will attempt to go as quickly as I possibly can to explain to you Positive Prime, the how and the why it really works. But much more importantly, how do you make the most of it? And so just in the comments, let me know, have you actually logged in, and have you watched a couple of sessions yet? And have you uploaded your own photographs to transform the experience, the actual exercise or activity or intervention or treatment, whatever you want to call viewing a Positive Prime session, to transform it into something that is an exquisite and potent gratitude exercise and also vision board exercise? Let me know. Okay. It'd be great if you could just write some stuff in the comments for me, and I will see if I can go back to it and forth and back to it and forth. Alrighty, so I think that what I really want to do is very quickly show you a Positive Prime session and then talk about why it's exceptional, why it's scientifically solid, and how we've actually integrated some of the wisdom of the ages and the philosophies that we've come to know, like almost the spiritual aspect of it as well. We'll do this as quickly as we can. And I'm going to tell you why, if it's possible, within this very short period of time that we're going to take together, it is absolutely essential that you upload your own photographs. And I'm going to go into a couple of key concepts. So tell me if you are really into manifestation, or if you're really into positive psychology, if you are familiar with change management. Do you have any qualifications or experience of neurolinguistic programming, or as Anthony Robbins likes to call it, neuroscience conditioning? Are you a social worker? Just let me know a little bit, and I will try to tailor the next 30 to 45 minutes to you as well. Okay, so let's go into my Positive Prime account. So this is my personal account. I'm screen sharing now. And I actually quite like Steve Jobs. And I think that he was an incredible operator, outrageously successful, but he also went through his fair share of betrayal and disappointment and bitterness and frustration and anger and so forth in his topsy-turvy journey. So let's just say I really want to adopt into my own mindset Steve Jobs' wisdom, his advice, his suggestions. So what I'm going to suggest to you, that whatever it is that we want, we actually have to think about who is it that is a role model for us? Who would we like to emulate? Who is the kind of person who has the habits and the results that you are seeking? Now, that could be someone famous like Steve Jobs. It could be actually one of your best friends. It could be one of your family members. It doesn't matter who it is, but you've got to think, who are they being, and what are the kinds of thoughts you think that they're having, and what are the kinds of behaviors you think that they're actually enacting, and how is it that I adopt the way that they're feeling and the way that they're acting and the way that their mind works, and how do I actually take the best of that and integrate it into my own identity, which is absolutely essential if you want transformative change. How do you also do it so that you really capture magic? And I like to think of it as the energies that are in everything, all that there has ever been, all that there is, and all that there will ever be, right? So I could just quickly play a session and it's going to ask me, how am I feeling? Well, actually today, I've got to tell you, I'm doing my favorite thing on planet Earth, which is connecting with all of you. So I'm happy. I'm going to start to watch a positive prime session. I'm literally just going to mute it down here, and I could go full screen if I wanted to. And I'm going to accelerate the speed and slow it down. I'm going to explain to you exactly what, why, when, and how we do that. But I'm going to tell you that if I watch this all the way through on a faster speed, something incredible is going to happen, like absolutely phenomenal. So let me tell you what that is as soon as we've watched this for just a couple of minutes. And then I'm going to tell you what happened if you watch this for just a couple of minutes every single day. Any session, any content, the formula will do something remarkable for you. And all you have to do is press play. It'll be more important for you and what it is that you want and need in the world if you personalize it. So at the moment, we are essentially having an intervention or an experience that is changing our brainwaves. If we were stressed or busy or in overwhelm or anxious, or if we were fired up and we were in what we call high beta waves, which quite frankly is like producing lots of cortisol constantly. And we all know that that's actually not very good for us, our heart health, etc. And so consistent or persistent beta waves is also not very good for you. You can overproduce those, and not very good for your brain, by the way. And there's all sorts of then implications and consequences of that. So the funny thing is that when you watch a positive prime session, and I'm going to be quiet for about 30 seconds, your brain is actually starting to drop into what we call synchronization of alpha and theta with bursts of gamma. You start to actually dive into flow state, which is quite frankly the magical manifestation, the connection to the quantum field, the expansion of your highest potential. And that's actually incredibly valuable. So let's just breathe super deeply in through the nose, hold, and breathe ever so slowly out through our mouth. Okay, so I'm going to slow this down for you, and then I'm going to explain to you on each one of these, speed 1, speed 2, speed 3. You're in control of this speed 4. You're going to want to watch positive prime sessions at varying speeds based upon what your intentions are and how you're actually feeling. All righty. So I'm just going to speed up through this. And now let me share with you a couple of things before we go back and screen share. You might think that viewing just a couple of pretty pictures and some words is not doing anything. But guess what? Ay, 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 ay. All righty, so lean in and listen when I tell you this. It took me nearly 10 years to find, to secure, and to work with a team of academics at a exceptional university where academic excellence was standard. And we did some research at the Brain Computer Interface Lab, the BCI lab, at the University of Technology, Sydney, which is a little bit like, if you're American, MIT in Massachusetts. Absolutely brilliant team of researchers and neuroscientists. And we put EEGs and eye tracking and skin conductance and heart rate variability to the test of people who were both positively primed, also neutral and negative, and we discovered something remarkable. Even those people who were participants in the study who said, I'm not sure that really did anything, their biology betrayed them. And what actually happened was, because we were measuring, we could show them the biological biomarkers for what is then going to be happening from a biochemistry point of view. And also, we know that when we're in very deep meditation and prayer, when we are energy healers and we are spiritual people who are connected to the divine, when we are in communication and we're really in sync, we're in alignment, our vibrations or our frequencies are perfectly matched. Coincidences, serendipities, synchronicities, we are in control of those. And we can, quite frankly, produce the results that we want for our lives. We can think about, when we're in that state, what is it that we truly want? What is it that we really need? What is it that we would like? And now how that relates to positive prime is that the positive prime session, the types of photos and the numbers or the ratios of those photos, there's a very fine formula. It's fantastic. It's scientifically solid, based on positive psychology and neuroscience. So tell me in the chat if any of this is actually interesting to you. But what happens is, when you watch a positive prime session, you enter into this state. Now let's call it the best, the most beautiful, magnificent, marvelous, majestic connection with the quantum field state you could possibly be in. And we managed to prove it, that it literally happens within a couple of minutes, and you can sustain it because your eyes take in an enormous amount of information compared to your ears. And visual processing means that as you watch a positive prime session on a faster speed, you are bypassing what we call the conscious critical judgment factors of your prefrontal cortex. So the content is actually going in, and it's playing within you and your entire energy field. From a neurotransmitters point of view, from a producing endorphins point of view, from the biochemistry of your brain, it's absolutely sensational and very special. Otherwise, incredibly difficult for you to create that by yourself. You actually do need something that's an intervention, particularly in this day and age where we're hijacked, disrupted, interrupted by all sorts of very stressful triggers, whether that's what's happening politically or what's happening, say, in our oceans. Actually, do you know what? Today is Thursday, the 8th of May. It's Sir David Attenborough's 99th birthday, and it's the release of his perhaps final movie, which is about the oceans. And I'm a Pisces, and so I am at home in the water and love the ocean. And I'm of course very focused on the health of our oceans and what our oceans provide for us in terms of humanity. So anyway, that's an aside. But I'm going to go through how that understanding the ocean actually impacted the who I am that invented this particular exercise or activity or treatment, as I would call it, in terms of Positive Prime. You can go and dive deep into my background. I spent many years in the spa industry. I actually am the woman who invented hot stone massage, the heating of black marble and the chilling of white marble, and thermotherapy and cryotherapy, vasodilation, vasoconstriction, calisthenics for your cardiovascular system in a massage treatment that's remedial and therapeutic. But, you know, that needs another hour or so for me to talk about. But I train nearly 5,000 therapists around the world. And right now I'm in the process of training thousands of coaches and practitioners who really want to understand the neuroscience and the positive psychology of Positive Prime. And they want to leverage Positive Prime as a practitioner, and they actually want their own session on our platform, but I can go into that. And so for you as an individual, if you are committed and dedicated to what it is that you want, Positive Prime is the only resource in the world that has been scientifically proven that puts your state of being into this flow state, connection to the quantum field. We've been able to measure that, reliably duplicate that, replicate that. It's very exciting, and we're doing a rather incredible new research program, creating a new prototype at the University of Technology, Sydney. Our federal government here in Australia actually awarded me a grant, hundreds of thousands of dollars, to actually advance this particular idea that I've created, and the formula, the intellectual property around that. And yes, it's a privilege, it's an honor, it's also a great responsibility, and I'm incredibly lucky, very fortunate that I get to work with Dr. Avinash Singh at UTS and his team. But suffice to say that the body who awards these things, called the Australian Research Council, they actually know that I've created something that can shift humanity positively and is good for Australian society, and then we can actually broaden the impact. So I'm kind of here sharing with you that what you've got your hands on is actually, like, truly a gift. It's a self-love ritual I would really like you to engage in at least once per day, and as early in the day as possible, because what it's going to do in terms of setting you up, yes, you'll get a pep in your step, but here's the secrets to it, right? Positive Prime will actually help you to, and I'm just admitting a few more people to our actual our group here. When you see photographs of what you're truly grateful for, and you see photographs of what it is that you want, you allow the communication with the quantum field to work much more efficiently, effectively, and also effortlessly. It's like you're going to be on autopilot, having the circumstances, the situation, and the people drawn to you magnetically, such that you're going to be able to live into those desirable experiences. About 10 years ago, when I really was working on how do I make sure that this is reliable 100% of the time, like this is the manifestation tool that I needed, but it's also the tool that's going to make my brain healthy. And there was a very big difference I was learning between the brain and the mind, and this brain structure and the way that we can, quite frankly, use the frequencies that are created to connect. And I always think about from an astronomy point of view, way out there into the furthest reaches of either our universe or the solar system and or the multiverses. I'm sure that you understand, you know, where I'm coming from with respect to this. But you know what, I wanted to be able to have the forces at play that keeps stars being birthed, I wanted it to be mine to enjoy as well, and yours to enjoy as well. I wanted you to be able to command those forces reliably, right? So there are other kinds of practices we can all participate in, whether it's meditation or it's prayer, or I actually have my own waterbed with special transducers, and Mayumi, who works with me, and I have created musical files that do all sorts of chakra realigning and all sorts of very deep healing work. So I can be lying on that treatment table, and I can be stereo headphones, but having the vibroacoustic therapy working for me as well. But if I've watched a positive prime session before and after that, it's like I've supercharged. I've made sure that the return on investment of my time and energy and of my prayer abilities, of my healing abilities, I've made sure that it's exponential in terms of the return. So what Positive Prime physically does when you upload photographs, and I'm going to see if I can demonstrate this to you right now. So we were just watching a little session, and every single one of the photographs that you saw is precisely chosen, very specifically included according to the formula that is scientifically solid and proven, right? So it's not just any pictures, it's a particular type of photo. And obviously, if you wanted to do our certification program, I could actually teach you all about the types of photographs and the ratio and why it physically works, et cetera, et cetera. But this is essentially a session that we have completed, right? So I'm going to go and essentially restart this. I'm on Zoom, but I'm going to go back to the dashboard. And I'm going to show you that you have hundreds of sessions. No, sorry. Let's go back to the dashboard. You have hundreds of sessions that you can look at. You can either go down here and we actually feature some. This particular woman, an amazing woman, incredible in terms of the way that she role models this. But if you want to tap into somebody who's an expert at both Qigong and Tai Chi and breath work and yoga, she is actually one of the very well-known, respected and admired leaders at one of Australia's premier health destinations. Or, you know, you've got places in America like Canyon Ranch or like Golden Door. Anyway, here in Australia, it's called Gwyngarna. You can go and look it up. But, you know, Donna is one of these specialists. So before I go and watch Donna, I'm going to personalize this session. Now, what's going to happen is, yes, my health is going to get better, but it's going to get better at a completely accelerated rate so long as I see photographs of myself. Now, I have actually uploaded photographs myself, and so you can see these are photographs of me, but I'm just going to see if I can upload something else from my computer. Should we try and do that? In fact, why don't I do this? I actually was at Heart Math. I'm sure you've all heard of Heart Math. About 10 years ago, meeting with a man named Howard Martin, and he's one of the founders. And on Facebook, it actually popped up that 10 years ago, I was at his boardroom at the headquarters in California, and there's a photograph of him and me. And I screenshot this yesterday. So that's me and that's Howard Martin. So let's just say I've now uploaded this. I click it and then I press play, and the actual session integrates those photos. And I use the word integrates because what's going to happen is my subconscious, unconscious, superconscious, and my, I call it all conscious, is now going to absorb the content into my identity in a way that cannot be achieved in any other technology on planet Earth. And that's what we've been able to reproduce for people scientifically, measure it, tens of thousands of people, and now you, right? So I'm just going to mute the music here, but I literally can watch hundreds of different pieces of content. Every single piece, I can have different photographs. It's so important that my brain and my mind, my consciousness sees me in the content And I'm sure you know this, and I'm going to give you a very practical example. You might even recognize me. Usually I have my hair up, but sometimes I have my hair down. That's actually a book I wrote. That's my garden. That's one of my friends. What happens is that it draws me in, and it literally wraps my energy around the energy of the content. I hope you understand that. Does that all make sense? I'm sure that some of you now have some questions that we can discuss in the chat. But the very particular types of images that are in the formula and the very particular types of words that you see in Positive Prime and your name is essential to the way it works. Now, you want to speed it up if you actually are resisting any of the information. You know that whatever we resist persists. So if you want to surrender and let go of something that no longer serves you, like let's just say there is actually a session on procrastination. In fact, I'm going to go find it in a second. Or let's just say I'm not looking after my body as a temple well enough. And so that's one of the reasons why I've decided to watch Donna's session. Maybe I want to achieve something that is very complex, very complicated, and way outside my comfort zone. And so I might go and watch a session that's more oriented towards sex, success, and being supercharged in my commitment but anyway, so there is a session actually that helps you to get over procrastination very effectively. And we get great comments because people who used to be procrastinators are recovering procrastinators and totally, completely cured procrastinators. Anyway, so let's just say you want something. And I'm going to talk about this in practical terms. Like you want to go on a vacation and you want to be very precise about where it is that you want to go. Well, I wanted to go to French Polynesia. I wanted to go to Tahiti. I wanted to go to Bora Bora. I didn't know very much about Moorea, but I started to research French Polynesia and I started to understand that there are lots of islands. And I started to find photographs online via Google Images that I, right-click save as, and I created this collection of images that were about traveling, adventure, vacationing, having fun in French Polynesia. And I uploaded the photographs into my collection of personal private photographs. And I made sure that I then completely let go and allowed the universe and or God and or your angels. I don't mind who it is that you're connecting to. For some people, it's one mind. For me, it's like the all there ever was, all there will ever be, and all that there is. God, gods or goddesses, depending upon whether you're Hindu. So just allow the circumstances, the situation, and the people to reorganize themselves so that you fundamentally find that miraculously you get to go to French Polynesia and that it is such a pleasant and delicious surprise, which is exactly what happened. So only a couple of months ago, I went to French Polynesia with my parents and my husband, and we had the most marvelous time. There was so much laughter, so much laughter. There was just these incredible unfolding of experiences that fulfilled me and satisfied me in ways I could never have imagined. And I had been deliberate about uploading those photographs. But I'll tell you the manifestation secret. I became the person over the last couple of years who has those kinds of magical, mystical, magnificent experiences unfold. And every single time something remarkable has happened that, quite frankly, I can't explain, because it was like there was some other forces or God had made it happen, because either I'm not rich enough, or I'm not smart enough, or I'm not powerful enough, or I'm not whatever, right? I take photographs in those moments, and that's what I think of as my gratitude experience. And the more photographs you have of moments that have been exquisite, the unfolding majesty of being alive, when you have those images, in your positive prime session, that's when something way beyond your wildest imagination can happen. If you're also in this state of flow, because that's what positive priming is doing to you, it's putting you in a state that is allowing that pursuing of your goals to happen much more beautifully, right? I mean, now there are lots of different, there was me at a ball with a friend of mine. There are lots of different sessions, and I could go and tell you about every single one of these people: Laura, Bruce, Pam, Robert. You know, seriously, you have so much content. It doesn't even matter what content you watch. Of course, you've got Lisa, and we love Lisa's. The more you personalize these sessions, the more your entire being will integrate the content into your identity, and then your transformation will be on autopilot and accelerated. Does everyone get that? Okay, so who has some questions? I can go through a couple of maybe slides that are going to help you to kind of get the neuroscience piece. Tell me, does that interest you, the neuroscience piece? Yes or no? Let me know. Is there anything that I've said that you're like, oh, wow? Just put something into the chat for me. And while we do that, I'm going to just pop over to this particular little a tour. Okay, so Kelly, I wonder if you were a little bit late, but I'll go back and do another tour for you. How many pictures should we upload per session? I'm going to answer that. Absolutely. Yes, the neuroscience piece does interest you. Okay, so well, let's dive in, shall we? I'm just going to go to the slideshow, and then there are a couple of slides here I've used in another presentation, so bear with me. Ultimately, yes, I'm a best-selling author. Yes, I created a part of Positive Prime. So we actually integrated a session into the Oprah Winfrey Network's e-course that is called the 21 Days to Happiness with Sean Achor, a man who was teaching at Harvard University at the time. And that was like really our breakthrough about 10 years ago. And that success led me to make sure that we got our actual session scientifically proven. And interestingly enough, the Society for Neuroscience did invite me to go and present Positive Prime as a breakthrough in brain science a couple of years ago. The Global Wellness Summit is an invitation-only summit of the 400 leaders in the entire world. This is me many years ago. Lithos Therapy is the brand name. I told you I am the woman who did invent hot stone massage, and I am the woman who did invent that as a spa treatment, and I trained thousands of therapists and introduced it at all sorts of spas and, you know, hotel chains and health retreats all over the world. Anyway, I have actually done so much speaking, talking, podcasting. Before they were podcasts, they were tele summits. I mean, seriously, there's just so much that I've done in the last 10, 15 years with respect to this. And back then, it was so groundbreaking, but I was way too early because it took me another 10 years to find the right researchers to scientifically prove what actually happens inside the brain, and then how that flows to the mind and the heart and your energy field and everything else like that. Anyway, that's me on my own beach just down the road. I live in a place called Noosa, N-O-O-S-A, and it's in the state of Queensland, in the country Australia. Alrighty, so your ability to achieve anything that it is that you want, whether you want to improve your health, or you want to improve your marriage, or you want to be a better mother or a better manager, or you want to be a better healer, or anything that you want to change, you can do it much more efficiently and effectively with Positive Prime as one of the tools that you use, right? You must have your brain in a state of flow, synchronization of alpha, theta, and gamma, bursts of gamma. That must be the state you're in order for you to manifest magically the magnificence that you want. It can't and doesn't happen. It's held, it's resisted out there without you being in that state, right? So most people have not mastered the art of surrendering and letting go. Most people have not. Most people are actually holding on to some kind of resentment or some kind of limiting belief or something that is actually holding what it is that they want away from them. So interestingly enough, the neuroscience of change is ultimately about change management, right? So the neuroscience of change is ultimately about change management. It's about how do we transform? Why is it that we as humans know what it is that we want to do, but don't do it? And we have been misled mostly by the media, but certainly by our education system. We have been misled about the fight and flight response. And this is very important that you hear. So in order for you to react, respond more elegantly, in order for you to transform yourself or any of your habits or any of your thought patterns, lean in as I say this, you must understand that the first thing that your eyes are scanning for in your environment are friends, friendliness, support, love, pure, unlimited love, peacefulness, harmony, sanctuary, serenity. That's what you're searching for. From a survival instinct point of view, the first thing that we look for, and we know this now for the speed at which we can actually do eye tracking and EEG, etc. You are not looking to fight somebody, and you are not looking to run away. The fight-flight thing, quite frankly, has been conditioning us. First, we look for friends. So in a Positive Prime Sessions formula, there are a certain number of photographs that are opening up all of your portals, and they're actually about the images that you see of what we call pro-social behavior, friendship, genuine and sincere friendship, and smiles, Duchenne smiles. That's actually, quite frankly, a Duchenne smile is a scientific word for a type of smile that the retina in your eyes processes and sends messages to your mirror neurons in your brain. That sends messages to your endocrine system in your body, and you start to produce a different chemical cocktail, different neurotransmitters at different rates. You produce in such a way that you get a healthy boost for your immune system. It's good for your cardiovascular system. Look, I could go on and on and on. And we do at our certification program, which is a couple of weeks online. And then at the end of this year in Boston, we're actually having an incredible gathering. So interestingly enough, we want you to understand how and why it works. But suffice to say, and I'll say this, you've probably taken a paracetamol without understanding the pathways from a neuroscience point of view that make the headache go away. So you don't actually have to know how Positive Prime works, but it does work. And we've scientifically proven it, and we presented it to the, Society for Neuroscience. And now we've got this very fancy award, a reward, a grant from the federal government, because what I've created is actually a world's first world-class breakthrough in brain science. And it's what it does to us that is, quite frankly, really good for us. So, maybe the science bit isn't actually all that interesting to you, except unless, of course, you're a practitioner or you're a therapist or you're a best-selling author in personal development and self-improvement. Anyway, you can tell me who you are. Well, you can ask for how you can do our certification. But anyway, so the crazy thing is that there are people out there like Dr. Joe Dispenza and all of the others who are in this field. And what they haven't been able to do is create a piece of software that you can access reliably just via Google Chrome on your laptop or your desktop at least once a day. And we are creating an app. It is coming. And the funny thing is that this helps you to shift your identity. So you adopt new ways of beingness. It opens you up because of the types and styles of images. And it puts you in the state where you can literally have your desires and your wants and your needs attracted to you. And that's what I want for you, right? So, I wanted my ideal relationship with my soulmate, my life partner. And I literally watched a session called Romance and Intimacy that I created, and I brought that about. And I have one of the healthiest relationships. Everybody admires and respects the way that Cameron and I are so playful and so loving and so romantic and so good for each other, and we bolster each other. And, you know, if there's an upset, we don't escalate each other, you know, we calm each other down. We do the hugs every day for the oxytocin. But having a really healthy relationship wasn't the only thing that I wanted in my life. I wanted to actually create something that was truly going to be one of the biggest differences for mankind. And that is actually what's been unfolding over the 10 years. And I've been connecting with people who never would have respected me, like psychiatrists at Harvard Medical School, and I could go on and on and on, who are now paying attention to positive prime because we've done that first phase of scientific research. And it's so shocking what it seems that this particular cute little formula, this pictures that you upload your own personal photographs into, right? So the actual process of watching a positive prime session literally means that you're in a state of surrendering and letting go and releasing whilst you're viewing a session. It also means your reticular activating system is being primed perfectly by your personal images. It's phenomenal. How many personal images? Well, I'm going to tell you in every single one of our sessions, of which there are hundreds you can choose from in all sorts of different subjects. You know, Jack Canfield's is there. I've actually done some work with him. Bob Proctor, I've done some work with him. I could go on and on and on, right? So there are 800 images, very, very carefully curated. Then there are 200 statements, the best advice and suggestions and wisdom. Like for Lisa's session, there's all of what she really wants for you to actually have integrated into your very natural and obvious ways of thinking and being, right? So there are about 1,000, let's call them flashcards. I haven't even told you yet about shuffling, so hang in there, because that's like the piece de resistance. That's what neuroplasticity is all about. But anyway, I'm going to tell you why that's, you know, exceptional. The interesting thing is that I have uploaded as many photographs of myself and what's important and meaningful and significant to me, my goals, my wishes, my desires, but also what I've accomplished and who I want to work with. In other words, I will promise you, hand on heart, 10 years ago or thereabouts, I uploaded a photograph of Oprah Winfrey and Ariana Huffington. And the next thing you know, I'm doing a project with Sean Acor that includes Oprah and Ariana and Sean, and it happened by magic. No, it didn't. It happened in the quantum field because my beingness was actually communicating consciously, right? Oh, goodness me, Arama. Now, funnily enough, I'm actually in conversations with another incredible man who's at Harvard Business School, who's doing some work with Oprah on the science of happiness. I am really into effectively inner peace and pure unlimited love, because I think a lot of people look for happiness in all the wrong places. But that's another masterclass at another time. That's another couple of hours workshop. The work I'm doing with Professor Stephen G. Post, who's coming out with a new book soon, and the forward is by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Like, that's something you'd so want to be taking some time and attention and making it possible that you read this book that's coming. It's called Pure Unlimited Love. Maybe Mayumi can actually put the link in so that you can go and pre-order it. Of all the books that are thought-provoking and necessary, essential, critical for our time, that's this book. Anyway, so let me just go back and I'm going to explain to you the difference about consciousness, other than consciousness, unconsciousness, subconsciousness, superconsciousness. And the answer to the question is, how many photographs? I'm going to say at least a couple of hundred. Right? At least a couple of hundred. Don't freak yourself out though. Don't be an overwhelm. make sure it's just a little bit at a time. So upload 5 photographs of yourself or your pets or your children or something you're really grateful for. Like go out into your garden and take a photograph of your favorite flowers. Upload those. Your beingness knows they are your flowers. And so your energy starts to actually get integrated into the content, into the session, right? Into the subject that you're wanting that transformation around. So there's sessions on surrendering, letting go. You can go and learn to surrender and let go and have you and your beingness integrated into that by seeing a couple of photographs of yourself. A couple will work. More will work better and faster. A couple will work. More will work better and faster, right? There's actually a fantastic session on profitability. If you have been making great sales but overspending on expenses, you're not going to be profitable. So if you want prosperity, you're going to need to be profitable. And so you definitely want to go and watch some of those kinds of sessions. Anyway, we've got lots of these kinds of resources available. I've done lots of teaching in lots of different videos. So just let me know what it is that you're looking for. Let Mayumi know and we'll guide you in the right direction. So a couple of photographs or a couple 100 photographs per session. It's easy if you just select all. Our app is going to make the personalizing a little easier. The app is probably at least a couple of months away. It's probably about 3 months away. But I mentioned before the shuffling. And so I'm going to actually go back to the, I'll go back to the, what do I want to call it? The slideshow. Thank you. Oh, hello. I'm too funny, aren't I? I'm like, what am I doing? Back to the slideshow so I can show you a little bit more. So the neuroscience of change basically says that no, your first instinct for survival is not fight or flight, right? Now, there are 2 others that we never hear about because it's not sexy in, everyday language. We all know fight or flight. Now, what makes you aggressive and, you're always scanning for threats. That's BS. You're not. You're always scanning for friends and support and love. First and foremost, that's your survival instinct. And I'm here to basically, help humanity to understand that a whole heap more. There aren't very many people. I'm probably one of the only people who are out there saying, hey, guess what? Eye tracking in our brain-computer interface proved that your survival instinct means you're looking for friends and love and peace first and foremost. Yes, if you don't find that support, that help, that assistance, you will then consider fainting, i.e. pretending you're dead so the saber-toothed tiger or the big bear doesn't actually want to come and, you could freeze like a deer in headlights, as they call it, or you could fight or flight, but first you're going to look for friends, right? So anyway, let's go down here a little bit more. There's lots I want to be able to tell you about the state of flow, but that probably requires another masterclass. There is a way for you to enter a state of flow. I've just spoken about it for the last 45 minutes. It's positive prime. Most people who are looking at personal development and self-improvement have learned that we have the conscious mind and it's like the bit above the water. And we have the subconscious mind and all our limiting beliefs are there. And, basically it's the reason why we can't do what it is that we want to do. We decide, oh, I want to be a morning person, but actually we don't get up in the morning and we don't transfer joy in the morning to the other people around us. Or we go, oh, I want to be the kind of person who goes to bed early and I get better quality sleep. And the next thing you know, you're binging Netflix, right? Why is it? Oh, I've noticed that my heart rate's a bit, weird. I'm noticing it's racing. Oh, I need to do something with my fitness. Oh, I'm really going to go for that walk in nature or that run. Oh, and then you don't do it because all other things interfere and you're disrupted and you're interrupted. And why is it that we as humans won't do what we know that we want to do? Well, actually, because when we're on autopilot. So how do you actually use that to your advantage? How can you understand your humanness and work with it? Now we're getting to the nitty gritty of like who Kim Serafini is. I want to make it easy, right? I'm just as lazy as everybody else. I just, quite frankly, I want my humanness to work. What does that mean? Well, it means, as I alluded to very early on when I talked about being a Pisces and into the ocean, I knew that the research I was reading from the neuroscience and positive psychology and change management worlds, I knew it meant I had to focus here. Can you see outside the iceberg? There have been over 60,000 books available on Amazon about the subject of happiness. Do you think that if we could find or pursue happiness, we would have been able to do it by now? Yeah. But what did Einstein say? You can't solve a problem with where you're at, given who you are. It has to be like way outside of you. You have to be different you, right? Okay, so I started to think about blue and pink as in positive and negative, like being blue, feeling sad, depressed, anxiety, pink as in effervescent and bubbly and vibrant and joyful and skipping with pleasure, and right. And then I started to dive deep into epigenetics, and I then started to think about what if you poured enough pink food dye into the ocean. Now I want you to imagine this. The ocean is your other than consciousness. It's beyond, above, and around your conscious and subconscious. It is the entire of everything, all there is, all the way out until the edges of the universe or multiverses. It's all the forces. It's Reiki, universal life force energy. It's all, right? It's one mind, right? You've got to play out here. Now, out here for me, the ocean is the ocean of consciousness, like infinite intelligence. It's out there. It's what's keeping the stars and the planets where they are instead of crashing into each other. It's what's making sure that this morning the sun came up for you and me, right? And tonight the sun's going to go down for you and me. Okay, so what would it take for us to actually be able to enter into that ocean? How do we change the environment? Well, positive prime, quite frankly, has been proven. So the science of positive priming has been proven to make you more creative and more productive and improve your sales. And I could go on and on and on. This is really important if you're in the corporate world or you're in business or whatever. But there are 7 main elements of positive prime. It's absolutely about the smiles. It's about the amount of green tree canopy we include in the actual formula. It's about the shapes and the colors. It's about the poses that you see. I don't know if you've all heard about the power pose and Amy Cuddy's work. And when your hands are up in the victory symbol, your body actually produces more testosterone, which actually makes you feel a little bit more confident. So I could go on and on and on and on and on. But effectively, the actual genius of positive prime, and I could go here, it's not just about the smiles, it's not just about the green tree canopy, it's not just about the colors and shapes, it's not just about the poses, it's not just about the pro-social behavior as I talked about. Oh no. Yes, it's about the amount. So what we're doing is we're overwhelming your senses. It has to be 1,000 frames or, flashcards or slides, whatever you want to call it. It must be, right? It must be I am statements plus you are statements. You are beautiful. You are loving. Not just I am beautiful and I am loving. Affirmations is not nearly enough. Self-fulfilling prophecies have to be included, right? We needed to engage the Pygmalion effect and the broaden and build theory. There's just so much that goes into what makes positive prime work. I mentioned to you that I actually work with Sean Acor in his Oprah Winfrey course. You could go read his book, The Happiness Advantage, and you'd start to understand everything that there is to know about positive prime. We did some incredible research with him. We were included in that program. It was a great honor in my life. We have done so much more than that. And this is UTS. If you want to go Google UTS, this is our research. If you want to go and find out more about our research. But there are a couple of things that I wanted to actually share with you about the positive prime session that you watched. And one of them was, you may have seen a photograph, may remember seeing a photograph of me in a yellow jacket, and I was in the Antarctic. We actually, for our clients, have a concierge service where I want to go to the Antarctic. I haven't yet, right? So I've actually had the team create with photoshopping and AI photographs of me in places I haven't yet been to, so that I'm doing mental rehearsal. I'm sure you all get that. So if you want that concierge service, just let us know and we're happy to make it work for you. How many sessions should you watch? Well, the fact is action is so much more important than passive viewing. But I would watch, if I was you and you want various areas of your life to transform, I would watch at least 1 session per day for at least 3 minutes. There's something that happens if you watch that same session every single day. And I'm going to tell you that this is the component of the secret sauce. Every single time you watch a positive prime session, it reshuffles. And so those images are never in the same order. So your brain, from an associative conditioning point of view, from a like out of the box thinking point of view, you create new associations, which creates new breakthroughs. Let's just say you want to go to Paris and you've got some photographs of the Eiffel Tower. And let's just say you love puppy dogs. And let's just say you do believe I am kind. You believe you're a kind person. So if you see puppy dogs, the Eiffel Tower, and I'm kind, the energy from these two, puppy dogs you love and you know, and you believe you're kind, gets attached to what's in the middle, the Eiffel Tower. And now that energy helps to bring that about in reality much more quickly. Now, the brain needs novelty and the universe needs a repertoire. It needs lots of different circumstances and situations and people to realign so there's serendipity and synchronicity. So the next time you watch Positive Prime, there's going to be, for example, a sunflower, the Eiffel Tower, and maybe you love flowers, and maybe there's a photograph of something you are already grateful for. Now, what do we know about the energy of gratitude? Whatever we are grateful for, whatever we're focused on, whatever's amplified in our feeling from a frequency or vibration point of view, we're going to attract more of. So put in a photograph of your lover or a friend from high school or a gift that someone's given you that you're really grateful you were given. I mean, I actually love this scarf. I could take a photograph of this scarf and put it in there, and every single time my mind and brain processes the image of that scarf and it knows I love it and I'm grateful for it, it gets attached to what's around it. Manifestation magic. And there you go. I really hope that spending this time with me in this workshop was worth your time and energy. Please tell me if it is. Please tell me you've already gone to join our Facebook group. There's lots of inspiration in there for you. There's lots of tips and hints. There's lots of reminders to watch your Positive Prime. There's every single day we talk about a different Positive Prime and who actually created it. They're called flows. When we actually just take a little excerpt out of a Positive Prime session and we put it into a little video, we call it a flow, a bit like a reel, but it's our version. Of course, it's not personalized, so it's not going to work as precisely, perfectly, and powerfully for you and make sure that you're on purpose and you're actually peaceful. You put your head on the pillow at night and you go, wow, you know, today, the way my day unfolded meant that I was going to feel more peace and I was going to be a center of peace for the world. And I was going to fall in love with myself even more, right? So let me know, was today helpful for you? I'm conscious of the time and I've actually got to dive into another meeting. So I just want to know, what is it that is like a last question? Okay. Do you want me to quickly go and show you some more? Do I choose a topic or a session and watch it every day for ages until it manifests, or do you do different ones every time? I love that question. Thank you so much. Okay, you ready? Remember when you were waiting for the phone call 20 years ago and the phone never rang? So I have two parts to this answer. Yes, watch that every single day. So let's just say you want more abundance or prosperity, or you actually do want to improve a romantic relationship, or you do want to lose some weight, whatever it is that you want, right? Yes, watch that session. It reshuffles every day. So your brain, from a neuroscience point of view, is receiving the novelty it needs to improve the change process, right? So watch that session. Absolutely make sure it's personalized, has to be personalized, must be personalized. It's going to realign your energy every single time you watch it. So it's going to basically recalibrate you, bring you back. It's going to increase your vibrancy, your frequency, You're actually going to be in greater communication, consciousness, like, you know, pure consciousness. And then if I was you, I would mix it up with one other. I would just randomly choose one other and trust that your intuition or your inner being, your inner knowing is directing you. So I'll give you an example. I absolutely wanted to attract my soulmate, as I mentioned earlier. I'd had a couple of ended up being unsuccessful long-term relationships. I wrote down all the things I did not want in a relationship. And I didn't want someone to be more addicted to sports on television than spending time being present and enjoying me, or things that we could do together. I mean, I was really specific. I'm talking hundreds of things specific. But whilst I'm focused on that, I have the potential to, like the butterfly that's landing in your hand, grip on too hard and crush it, kill it. So it's never going to manifest. And so you've got to actually then do something else that you feel really good about. So maybe I was feeling really fantastic about the way that I was looking or feeling in terms of my health and well-being. Now, I'll tell you something just before we go about how I believe the supreme being or God or whoever it is that you feel like is greater than you. The irony is I ended up creating an intervention that saved my life. I have been diagnosed with a very rare autonomic nervous system disorder, a type of dysautonomia. And my heart literally flatlined, like totally, completely stopped for more than 20 seconds. And it didn't happen just once whilst I was driving a vehicle that ended up in a motor vehicle accident, a major motor vehicle accident. I survived. Nobody else was involved. I just went off the road and down and crashed into some trees. I survived. This heart pause happens 6 times, and there's lots of other symptoms. So what stopped my heart also stops my lungs, also stops my brain, also stops my digestive system. So there are these pauses. Now, I don't know if you know this, but if your heart stops for more than 20 seconds, you can end up with irreversible, irreparable kidney damage, right? And you need your kidney and your pancreas as much as you need your gut and your brain to produce hormones. That's another couple of hours. But had I not positively primed myself, I wouldn't have actually been able to bring my brain back online. But had I not been connected to the quantum field, I never would have survived them in the first place. So I am a miracle. And my body heals every day by watching Positive Prime sessions. And what an irony that somehow I downloaded all that was necessary for the formula. That would mean that not only would I end up being able to deal with my own anxiety and help others, it's why I'm so committed to having millions of people use Positive Prime, because now we have scientifically proven it. So I'll tell you something. I had my cardiac pacemaker implanted when there's nothing wrong with my heart. Like, I don't have cardiovascular disease in any way, shape, or form. I have a weird nervous system disorder that stems from my brain, and I'm massively fascinated, passionate about neuroscience and positive psychology and change management. Goodness me, like, what's the likelihood, right? So I am a living, breathing example of manifesting miracles on a daily basis, because I do what is necessary that helps me to heal and to function and to lead a team and to offer something that is really good for the world, just because I love you, right? And so do me a favor, use it, please, and then go share it with as many people as you possibly can, and let us know what miracles happen for you. Do you all of a sudden find that you're taking action when before you were too fearful? Like, did you watch enough procrastination? But did you also watch a second session every day that was about success, right? Did you also watch? So I'll tell you what was really interesting from a reticular activating point of view. I actually really don't like walnuts, like nuts, and The other nuts I like, almonds I like. But anyway, what I found one day was I just reached for some walnuts. And then I was watching a session called Wonderful Wellness. And one of the templates is walnuts. That's the background. And I'm like, oh, I am on autopilot to choose. Now, you know, walnuts are good for the brain. Do you know that? I'm sure you know that, the shape and the size, and there's a whole heap of other esoteric sciences around how walnuts look like the brain and are actually best for the brain. Anyway, so is that a coincidence? Is that serendipity? Is that synchronicity? Is that magic? Is that the whole reason why we're alive? To be present to and witness to observing magnificence, marvelousness, right? I want that for you. I want you to enjoy just a little bit more of every single day. And when you're having one of those crises, and I've been through crises, right? You have a tool that you can use that can just recalibrate you, reset you, give you back your pep, get you to focus on something that's empowering and enriching. You owe it to yourself and you deserve it. You're certainly worthy and you are very much loved. And in order for you to have life love you, others love you, and you love you, you actually need to adopt into your identity a solid, I am loving, loved, and lovable. And your brain will go in search of evidence to prove that that is in fact accurate for you. That's another whole masterclass on the truth about your survival instinct. You will do whatever you have to do to prove to yourself that you are right about the decisions that you make, whether those decisions are good or bad. And on that note, maybe see you next time. Maybe this has been useful enough for you that you want to come and join me on the next workshop. Maybe you want to be one of our very special pioneering positive prime practitioners. There's a huge opportunity, a great business around it. People like me get paid small fortunes because of what I know about neuroscience and positive psychology, and it's very sexy these days. It wasn't 10 years ago, but it is now, and demand is increasing. So if you want to find out about our certification program and you either want to do it online or you want to be in Boston with us, we'd love to be able to share. So thank you, 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 thank you. Share the link that you use with people that you know and like and trust, and maybe this particular recording can also be shared with you. Thanks. Thanks so much. Bye for now. There's another question. I've got to answer it. How many times? Just 3 minutes a day, a couple of times a day? What's the sweet spot? It depends how much of you want to change and how many of your circumstances and situations you want to change. I have been known to watch as many sessions as I can, sometimes 10 on speed 2 or 3 for an entire day, right? If I need a real shake up, I will watch more for longer on a slower speed. I mean, I've seriously been known to watch 20 sessions a day on speed 8 as well. I am a little intense as a human being though, and I really want to do more with my life. And given I know what the consequences and implications are supposed to be of an autonomic nervous system disorder, I've got a lot to do in the next couple of years. And that means I've got a lot of loving, a lot of laughing, a lot of traveling, and a lot of accomplishing that which has never been accomplished before from a neurotechnology point of view, right? So, yeah, I absolutely do a very, intense meditation. I'm not sure if you heard about a treatment that I've actually invented that is on a waterbed with transducers. That's vibroacoustic therapy, but of course I've turned the volume on that up as well. And I actually have the most phenomenal treatment that's 66 minutes that allows me to do all sorts of outrageous esoteric things and healing. And I have people who have intense trauma, like serious diagnoses for PTSD, who come and see me at my beautiful retreat, and they have this very special treatment, and there are miracles. There are people who haven't been able to sleep for years who sleep like a baby. There are people who've been in pain for years who no longer have any pain. And there are people like me who are going to prove that I can cure myself of an autonomic nervous system disorder, which is absolutely medically impossible. Love a challenge. Love manifesting miracles. And on that note, love you very, very, very much. And yes, I continue to do a lot of meditation. I do a beautiful walk in a national park in nature. I live, my house, our property, our estate is millions of trees and koalas and wallabies and a view of the ocean. I'm blessed, very, very blessed. I'm very, very, very blessed. And I also made it happen for me with the help of what's in the quantum field, right? And you know, none of it was really me. It was all me channeling the intentions and the emotions and the energies and the forces of what is way greater than me that none of us will ever be able to comprehend. And it's about me playing with the light and being the light and encouraging others to be the light. That's why I'm here. It's actually why we're all here. But anyway, that needs another hour's workshop. So thank you, 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 thank you. Go share the link that you were given. Maybe share this recording, encourage others. I reckon it's the best value treatment on planet Earth. We should charge $20,000 for it for what it actually does. But $200 a year makes it accessible and affordable and allowable. And that's actually much more important to me. We do have really clever software engineers working in the background, and we really have amazing neuroscience research happening. So that development work is extremely expensive. So we definitely have to charge something. We have to charge a lot of people something little so that we achieve what it is that we want to achieve for humanity and for you and for those you love. Alrighty, thanks very much. Bye.